Hello everyone, it is Wednesday, July 28th, 10:54 a.m. You'll have to excuse my appearance. I'm running on zero sleep, actually 2 hours of sleep. But I wanted to go over something. I just want to make a quick video and point something out that came to me last week that I have been reflecting upon. I'm going to try to do this. I just got a new computer, so my life is like off the wall right now. I'm having a brutal adjustment period. But anyway, what came to me last week for some odd reason was a reflection on the angel with the flaming sword referred to in the visions of Fatima, the apparitions of Fatima, and the correlation between that angel and that flaming sword with the angel with the flaming sword in the book of Genesis, who does what? Who guards the tree of life. And I think this correlation is extraordinarily revealing for our times. So I'm just going to read real quick. First, I'm going to read the book of Genesis. This is out of the Dewey Reams version, and it is Genesis 3:24. And it says this, and he cast out Adam. So this is directly after the fall of Adam and Eve. And he cast out Adam and placed before the paradise of pleasure cherubims and a flaming sword, turning every way to keep the way of the tree of life. Okay. Then, before I comment on that, I want to read Fatima. Okay. The children saw at the left of Our Lady and a little above, we saw an angel with a flaming sword in his left hand, flashing. It gave out flames that looked as though they would set the whole world on fire. But they died out in contact with the splendor that Our Lady radiated towards him from her right hand. Pointing to the earth with his right hand, the angel cried out in a loud voice, "Penance, penance, penance." So why is this important? Well, in the book of Genesis, it's fascinating. So after Adam and Eve fell out of the garden, after they were disobedient, so they were in the Garden of Eden and they had all these, fruits and all these trees to eat. They had the tree of life directly next to, I believe, the tree which they were not supposed to eat from, which was the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, right? So Satan tempts Eve to eat out of the wrong tree, which is fascinating to me because what do we learn about the tree of life is immortality. So instead of eating from the tree of life where they would have lived forever, they chose the tree of death, basically. And this tree of death was knowledge, knowing good and evil. So after God, after they fall, God has to banish them from the garden. Why? Because the tree of life is in the garden. And if they eat of the tree of life in the fallen state that they were in the broken state that they were in after eating of the tree of good and evil, they would have lived forever in a broken, fallen, sinful state. So his solution is to kick them out of the garden and have an angel with a flaming sword guard the tree of life so that nobody eats and lives forever and becomes immortal in a fallen, broken state of humanity. So this is, to me, fascinating that in Fatima we see again this theme of the angel with the sword, the flaming sword. Because to me, it brings me back to the garden and it makes me ponder, why did Our Lady choose to show this angel? And I think there could be a link between our current times and our obsession with life extension, immortality, the fountain of youth. All kinds of atrocities are taking place in the name of living longer. And that's really what it comes down to. The medical experimentation, the climate change hoax, all this stuff the depopulation agenda, all of this stuff is what? It's in an attempt to prolong the lives of certain individuals, prolong the life of the fallen earth, to prolong an immortality and renewable, and to let nothing die, to break the natural cycle of death. For some people, obviously, there's a very big eugenics theme where they don't want certain people to live. But that's because they're obsessed with immortality, merging with AI to extend the life of certain humans. So to me, it's fascinating that especially some of the products that are derived from stem cell research, like this current medical experimentation era that we're in. I can't say it because they'll just take my video down, because that's what they do now. You can't speak out against this. But it even goes further than that. From the research I have done, which I'll probably do a video on this eventually, but a lot of cloning and just making these monstrosities of just completely defacing God's natural creation, in an attempt to prolong the human life and in their mind, avoid suffering. So what does this mean? So I think it's very specific that Our Lady, showed the children of Fatima, the angel with the flaming sword, because the angel with the flaming sword guards against the tree of life, guards the tree of life from human brokenness living forever. So all in all, as bad as it gets, we need to remember that the Lord is not going to let these monstrous people achieve their goal. He's just not. I don't know what's going to happen, how he's going to put an end to it or whatever, but they're never going to achieve their goal of immortality and, avoiding the suffering that they're avoiding death. And as Christians, we know death is just a transitionary event that brings us to eternity with our Lord. They don't believe in our Lord, therefore they are probably, not judging anyone, but they don't see heaven as an option, right? So that's what this life extension and, the Georgia Guidestones, humans are a plague, a cancer on the earth, keep the population under a certain blah, blah, blah. Now, I'm not saying things aren't going to get bad. I'm saying their ultimate goal is going to fail. And their ultimate goal is immortality for them. Merging with machines, becoming part of the Matrix or whatever, I don't know, whatever their crazy plan of the week is. Brain chips and becoming like a machine so they don't die. Preserving the body, all this stuff. It's going to fail. It's going to fail. And we see this mindset, though, taking over right now. People are so panicked about this virus that they're willing to completely throw out reason. They're completely throw out any morals just to save themselves, to save their own skin, so to speak. And it's being touted as the moral and just thing to do. But I just want to remind everybody about that angel with that flaming sword, whose whole mission of his existence, of these, the angels that guard that tree, I'm sure there's more than one, is to prevent man in his broken state from living forever. It's not allowed. It's never going to be allowed. So with that being said, I hope y'all have a great day. Let me know what you think about that, or what your take on the angel of Fatima with the flaming sword is. And obviously, the message of penance is very clear. Penance, penance, penance. And not just penance for our own sins, but penance for the sins of these people who think they're going to live forever in their broken state. Joan of Arc Media out.